Okay, so now we're going to do the last stretch and fold. Here's our dough. We're going to dump it out this time. Knock out the air bubbles. Being careful, we don't want to rip the outer skin. Notice there's no flour on my counter. It's allowing the dough to stretch and pull from its own weight on with no floured surface. You see, it's starting to get a little shiny. It's also getting a lot tighter. Much more and will end up ripping. Creating a gluten network, strands. I don't know. That's what they say in the literature. Now we'll let that sit till it relaxes again. So first, I'm going to decided I'm going to cut off a little chunk. I'm going to take from the bottom. And I want to have about 100 grams. Why am I doing that? Because I have this other dough right here that is a bun dough. One more time, tightening up that outer skin. You can really see now that it's looking a lot smoother, nicely shaped. Right now we're just kind of sealing that bottom back up by using the friction of the counter. I'm just taking my fingers and pushing the bottom, pushing it all the way around, lightly rotating the ball until a tight skin forms. While that sits for a second, we're going to take our Banton. I scraped some of the stuff out just to show you how to put the rice flour back in. A handful, sprinkle it around. I'm going to rub it into the cracks, filling the holes. Now we're just going to brush out our excess. It's nicely floured. and small amount of all-purpose flour just to coat the outside. And I'm going to pick it up, gently squeeze the back, put it in our banton, upside down. Dust what will be the bottom with some flour. Now we're going to let that sit and rise. Now my dough has rested. It has slightly risen. I'm going to put it in a bag. And then I'm going to go put it in a fridge. And now I'm going to preheat the oven to 450 degrees and insert my Dutch oven. Okay, so it has been a little over an hour. Our cast iron should be at 450 degrees. I pulled my dough out. I have my water jug. I have my cutting blade all ready to go. My dough has actually been out about 20 minutes because I cleaned up this area for video purposes. And well, now I'll put you up on the shelf so I can show you how I'm going to turn the dough out of the banton and get it ready to go in the oven. First I'll take my cast iron out. So you could leave this sit in the fridge until you're ready to do this, but brush off the flour. Another way to do that would be, let's say it was a wetter dough. Say it was a wetter dough and it was kind of warm. You'd put this on top of the dough, use your hand to support it, and flip it over. It's best to work with the chilled dough. I'm just going to give it a little design. Plop it in the cast iron. Give it a couple spritz water. Put the lid on and put it back in the oven for 20 minutes. Alright, so our timer is about to go off. Now is the time to find out. Does she talk the talk, or can she walk the walk? We're gonna find, now's the time to find out if it's gonna be a pretty loaf or an ugly loaf, and it looks like it's gonna be a pretty loaf. Yay! Close the oven door. Turn off the timer. Reset it for 20 minutes. Turn down the temperature to 400. Oh, I had the door open too long, so it'll have to preheat some. Anyway, bring it back in 20. It's been 20 minutes. Our timer just went off. Let's see if we got that nice golden color that you look for in artisan bread. There we go. Pretty nice loaf. Not a huge ear. Nice color. Pull it out. Put it over on our cooling rack. Here's our cooled buns. Let's just cut into each one of these and see how they look. Let's look at these two. This is the dough from this, and this is the other dough that was beside it. It's a King Arthur flour recipe for beautiful hamburger buns. Let's just look at the difference. The King Arthur flour, soft, feels like it's going to make a nice burger bun for dinner. This one doesn't feel bad. It definitely doesn't have the color of those, even though it was treated the same with the egg wash. It is nice and soft. Inside of the dough, it is nice and soft yet still, but it's going to be a bit more chewier than this one because it's made with bread flour, and this one is made with all-purpose flour. So we'll come back in a little while after our nice beautiful loaf has cooled off, and we'll cut into it. It's the next morning. Let's cut this bread. Gonna be making some egg sandwiches. Nice holes, soft, thicker skin. All in all, very nice loaf of bread. And there you have it. Breakfast for 4. Because the bread's so big, definitely don't need to eat a whole one. On homemade bread with home smoked bacon, farm fresh eggs. Yum.